Hello ladies and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we're going to be going over the top 25 best looking JDM cars of all time. I just realized I forgot to get my song of the day prepared, so give me 1 second on that. But yeah, this is literally, as this is not like people are going to be like, oh, this is just like best JDM cars of all time. No, that's not at all what it is. Okay, that's not it in the slightest bit. It's just JDM cars that I think look the best, and obviously looks are 1000% just personal opinion, so don't get too upset as well if your car isn't on this list, or if a car is higher on my list than you think it deserves to be, or whatever it may be. Don't get mad, because it's just my personal opinion on which ones I think look the best. That is it. Just looks. Song of the day is a song called Skybox by Gunna. Go check it out. It's actually it's another rap song. This is the second Gunna song, isn't it? Gunna's a good man. I like Gunna, okay? Gunna knows what he's doing. He spits, okay? All over that beat, all right? So without further ado, let's get right into it, though, with number 25. I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but just in case you guys don't know, JDM just means Japanese domestic market. So it just means like cars that are like built for the market in Japan. No, but in all seriousness, pretty much I just mean Japanese cars. 25th is the Mazda Miata NA, the cute boy, the pop-up headlights Miata. Everybody else loves this car. It's like, especially the girlies. The girlies love the NA Miatas, and I can see why. It is a cute looking car, and that is obvious. It's very unique looking. Like, there's no other car that looks like an NA Miata. It looks, you know, it's nice. I like that aspect of it, but at the same time, I kind of like my cars to be a little bit more aggressive than cute. Still a good looking car, and again, like I said, it's super unique, and so that's why it's here at the number 25 spot. But it's not as, I don't think it's as cool as other people say it is. 24th, however, is going to a slept on car in terms of its looks. The Toyota Celica GT4 6th generation. Sixth, hate that word. But yeah, the spider eyes, bug eyes Celica is, in my personal opinion, by far the best looking Celica. Period. Like, it is absolutely incredible. I love the rear end of these cars, especially with the spoiler on it. It looks perfect. Without the spoiler, I think this car wouldn't even have made this list. I'm being honest. Like, if I'm being honest, I don't think the spoiler like needs to be on these cars. It completes the car. But the GT4 also has like a more aggressive body kit than like a regular Celica GT, and it just looks so good, dude. I can understand where people wouldn't like this, because like the bug eye front end, people don't like that for some reason. I don't know, man. They grow, the spider eyes, bug eyes stuff. That stuff grows on me, man. It looks good. Coming in at the 23rd spot, however, is going to the Nissan GTR R32. If this was a list about like just best cars in general, best JDM cars like overall, this car would obviously be up towards the top of the list. But in terms of looks, I do think the R32 is a little bit boring after you like see it enough, especially with the builds. Like, there's just not that many like different builds. Almost everybody just goes with the Nismo R32 GTR parts and then puts some TE37s on it and calls it a day. And it's like, that's fine. Obviously it looks good, it works, it's on my list, it looks great, it's a good looking car. But it does, in my opinion, I do think the R32 is slightly boring. I don't know, man. Am I wrong for saying that? Coming in at the 22nd spot, however, is going to be going to the Mitsubishi Evo 6, specifically the 6th generation, not the 5th, not the 4th. I think the 5th and the 4th do looks not that great compared to the 6th generation, but the 6th generation is beautiful. I love the front end. The front end carries this car. The back with the wing, the wing looks good. That part looks good, and like the bumper looks good. I don't like the taillights though. I'll say that the Evo 6 taillights I don't think look that great, and in my opinion, taillights do make up a lot of a car. Like, if a car needs to have really cool looking taillights in order for it to be cool, in my opinion. And I think the Evo 6 does kind of lack in the taillights department, but the front end is perfect. It's a perfect mixture of like aggressive yet like it looks like it's a business, but also like Sawyer from Lost. That's what it looks like, but without the racism. 21st place is like the actual complete opposite of the NA Miata, the Mazda Miata ND. It's ironic that they did this because, like I said, it's literally the complete opposite of the NA. The NA was a cute car with the pop-up headlights, open grille there, it looked adorable, and the ND looks super aggressive. The headlights are really aggressive looking, and the grille is like more in like a frown shape, like it's yelling at you, like it's angry at you, and I love it. I love how the ND looks. It is by far my favorite generation of the Miata. I think it looks absolutely incredible. But again, there is one downside to this car, and that's the taillights. I don't know what it is, but sometimes people car companies just absolutely miss on taillights. They just can't get it right, and this is one of those. I don't like the taillights on this car. I wish they were just better. breaking its way into the top 20. It's going to the Acura RSX Type S. I'm only calling it the Acura RSX Type S because more people here know what that is. But what I mean by that is the Honda Integra Type R DC5. Same car. Not really, the Type S is not the same as the Type R, but you get what I'm saying. The RSX. The RSX is an absolutely one of my favorite Hondas in terms of looks. The only downside to the RSX is the headlights. I think the taillights actually are really, really good. As a matter of fact, these are probably, in my opinion, the best Integra taillights for sure. But the headlights do look a little bit lackluster. I do wish they kind of had some more aggressive headlights. 19th place is just, in my opinion, just like a more aggressive NA Miata, the Toyota MR2 SW20. Whenever I think of the NA Miata, I also kind of think of the SW20 MR2s because they are relatively similar. They have that open grille that looks like it's smiling. They have the pop-up headlights to make it look like eyeballs. But this car, like I said, is just more aggressive. I also really like how they did the whole rear end of these cars. The front end is, you know, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of another like pop-up headlights JDM car realistically. But the rear end is amazing because it's a mid-engine car, so it has like that deck there instead of like a trunk, obviously, with like the vents on it, and then like the pillars that come down. I don't know what you would call those, B pillars? I don't know, but C pillars maybe? But whatever, those pillars that come down and then the spoiler on the back, it all flows so well. The rear end on the SW20 MR2s is absolutely perfect. Coming in at the 18th spot, however, is going to be going to the Toyota Soarer Z30, or as we know it over here in the United States of America, the Lexus SC300/400. I've mentioned this hundreds of times. Sorry about that. My heater just turned on. I was like, hey, man, we're going to bother you for the rest of the day. That's fun. So sorry that happened. But yeah, I mentioned this tons of times. The SC300s are definitely a very divisive car in terms of their looks. I've heard people say they look like eggs and they have like a really bad design. I personally think they look incredible. I do think the headlights could have used a little bit of work, but I love the front end in general, how it comes to like a point there. I like that. It looks like a fish or something. And then the rear end, the taillights, the little spoiler on the SC400s in particular is really, really good. And coming in at the old number 17 spot is going to the Mitsubishi Evo X, or the 10th generation Evo 10, whatever you want to call it. This is another very divisive car because it is like the newest Evo. Whenever a car company makes a new car, everybody's always like, oh, it's not as good as the last one. But over time, I feel like people are starting to come around to this car. It is a really, really good looking car. I think it's as good as the 789s. I don't want to spoil the video, but no, I don't. But it does look good. I think the only slight downside is the car looks a little like chunky, if that makes any sense. Coming in at the number 16 spot, however, is going to be going to the Nissan Silvia S13. The S13 is, in my opinion, unbelievably gorgeous. I mentioned this on my ranking all Nissan S chassis videos I just did like a couple days ago, that the S13 Coupe is actually my favorite of all the S13s. But the reason why it's my favorite of the S13s isn't the looks. I do think it's one of the weaker S chassis, but it's still incredible. I just think it doesn't have enough like curves in the rear end. I think the front end looks incredible, but you almost like need a wide body kit, in my opinion, to make S13s look good. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like that's the case. The S13 is my favorite, but for other reasons. First of all, it's the first SR20 and it's the most affordable. Those are pretty much the only real reasons why I like it so much. It's also the lightest. But looks wise, I do think it's probably the weakest if I had to choose. However, coming in at the number 15 spot is going to be going to the wonderful Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. This car is starting to make its rounds. People are starting to talk about this car on the internets, myself included. I've recently been talking about the 3K GT quite often because it is just incredible. It is a beautiful car. In terms of like performance, it's also pretty good, but it is unreliable, so you know people don't really care too much about that. But like in terms of looks, it looks like a pocket Ferrari or something. It's just absolutely unbelievably good. I like the third generation, or like the third facelift, I guess you can call it, the best. The one with the fixed headlights. I think that one's the best. And coming in at 14th place, however, like I said, I don't like the other S chassis too much better because it's the Nissan Silvia S15. The S15 used to be my favorite generation of a Silvia in terms of looks. It does look really pretty. However, unfortunately, the S14 is starting to grow on me. I just love the S14, dude. It just looks good. So freaking good. The S15, like I said, still a beautiful car, but not as good as the S14. S15, though, let's talk about that car real quick because I just realized all I pretty much said was the S14 is good there. But it's just, the S15 is straight up beautiful. The front headlights very aggressive. The rear tail lights are very like pretty. It's great. Coming in at the 13th position, however, is going to be going to the Nissan 300ZX Z32. In my opinion, this thing is like the perfect retro styling ever. The headlights were so good that the Lamborghini Diablo used them. Like, I know everybody says that, everybody kind of like beats it into the ground a little bit, but dude, that's saying something. If Lamborghini is willing to use their headlights, that's saying something. And then the taillights, I love the taillights on this car. It's absolutely perfect. I love the little spoiler on these 300ZXs as well. They have T-tops. T-tops are so cool. The only thing I don't necessarily like is something about the front end does look a little bit wacky to me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there is something about the front end that I don't really love. But overall, the car is still gorgeous. And coming in at 12th place is everybody's favorite JDM car, the Toyota Supra Mark IV. People online hate this car now because they think that they're children if they like the car. Dude, I love this car. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. The engine's incredible. The only thing I don't like about the Mark IV Supra is the headlights are too soft. They're not aggressive enough in my opinion. That's not like a hot take. I don't think everybody pretty much agrees with that. But I love the rear end of Mark IV Supras so freaking much. The rear end is absolutely amazing. The taillights, the spoiler, the way it rounds off and it's like a big bubble thing in the back. Oh, it's so good. As a matter of fact, everything from like the front clip backwards in this car is perfect. I do wish they maybe slightly changed the front end, but that's what aftermarket mods are for, baby. Coming in at the old number 11 spot, however, is going to be going to the Nissan GTR R35. I hope you guys enjoyed. I just started saying the outro. Anyway, yeah, the R35 GTR is absolutely gorgeous in my opinion, especially in person. This is one of those cars where it's like on the internet, yeah, you look at it and you're like, wow, it's a cool looking car. But then you see it in person and you're just like, wow, that's a good looking car. It's so much more sporty and aggressive looking in person than on pictures. On top of that, it's much wider in person. Like, this car is an aggressively wide vehicle. I like it. I like it. Breaking its way into the top 10. Hey, look at that. The heater turned off. That's miraculous, actually, because usually it lasts for 17 hours long. But 10th place is a Subaru WRX STI Blabai. This is my favorite generation of the WRX, and the WRX is a pretty good looking car. It's one of those cars where it's like, yeah, it's just a sedan, until you realize it's not just a sedan. This bad boy has a hood scoop. This bad boy has a nice spoiler on the back. By the way, the nice like STI spoilers, keep those on there. I hate these cars without the spoilers on there. If you have a STI spoiler on, keep it on. It looks gorgeous with it. Without it, it looks... But yeah, I actually like the Blabai eyeballs the best. I think the headlights on the Hawkeye, not my favorite. The Bug Eye, not my favorite. But the Blabai, just right. Coming in at the number 9 spot is going to the Honda S2000. Duh. The Honda S2000 looks like Margot Robbie. Like, that's the best way I can describe it, man. This is the Margot Robbie of the JDM car world. Like, it just looks so like proper, so beautiful, so amazing, just in every single way. I love the front end. The front end is just so long and aggressive. Looks like a big old shark, like a baby Dodge Viper. It just truly is a gorgeous car. However, I will say I like it better if you have a hard top on it. I don't like I like the hard tops better than the soft tops, and I really like when S2000s are like aggressive rather than like stance. Like, I always see like S2000s that got huge camber, but I like the ones with like the big wide body kits and big spoilers. They look like time attack cars. Those are sick. 8th place, and this is how you know that it's not a list about like which one are the best, because these cars are definitely not one of the best JDM cars, but it's the Subaru BRZ ZN6, or the first generation of the Subaru BRZ. Yeah, performance wise, obviously people like to bash on this car. They like to call it poo poo butt cheeks, but listen, performance, it's what it wanted. You know, it wanted to be like a new Miata type thing where it's lightweight, it's just can handle really well, and it got that. But one thing they absolutely nailed is the looks. Everybody that isn't a car guy always thinks that these cars are faster than they actually are, because they just look so fast. They look like great looking sports cars, dude. Really, really well done. Coming in at the number 7 location is the last Evo, and my favorite Evo, the Mitsubishi Evo 9 MR. I mean, it's just not possible, Mitsubishi, for you to beat the design choices of the Evo 9. Like, it's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. You're not making a better looking Evo. The Evo 10 tried its best and it did really good, but the Evo 9 is just immaculate. The front bumper's aggressive, the side skirts are aggressive, the rear bumper's aggressive, the rear spoiler is perfect. It's such a good looking spoiler. And then on top of that, the taillights are at a perfect position so that it doesn't make the rear end of the car look chunky like the Evo 10. It is really, really, really well done. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous car. And the hood is gorgeous. Like, come on. However, coming in at 6th place, you guys knew it was coming eventually because I kept accidentally spoiling it. It's the Nissan Silvia S14, specifically the Kooky. The Kooky model is the one I like better. It's the more aggressive looking one, the one with like the more like soft headlights. The Kuki, I'm not or the Zenki, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that one. But the Kuki, oh my god, it's absolutely gorgeous. The front end looks so aggressive, so aggressive. It's really, really well done. And then on top of all of that, the rear end, the way the taillights connect is amazing as well. Again, another one of those cars though where you need a spoiler, dude. Keep the stock spoiler on the S14 Silvias, and you'll thank me later. Another car though too, one last thing, where it could definitely benefit from a wide body kit. They look better with wide body kits. And coming in at the number 5 location might be a bit of a surprise, but allow me to explain. It's the Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX 2G, or the second generation of the Mitsubishi Eclipse. Dude, I don't understand how people don't like the looks of this car. It is unbelievably gorgeous. It is, real quick, one thing about this car in particular that I love, the front bumper. The front bumper has like the best grille for an exposed intercooler of any car ever made. Any car ever made. Like there are no cars where the intercooler looks as sick as in this car. It perfectly has a good intercooler. And then I love the hood with the like bump on the left side, and instead of like a typical hood scoop, like just like a bump on the left, is gorgeous. Everything, the front end of this car is absolutely gorgeous, and the back is great as well. I do think though the spoiler, it's iffy. I always feel iffy about it. And coming in at 4th place, yeah, I may be a little bit biased, but can you blame me? It's the Nissan 350Z. I love 350Zs, man. I've owned one. I think they're absolutely gorgeous cars, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I know it might be a hot take to put it at 4th place of all JDM cars ever made, but hey, I love it. I love how it looks. And no, I do not like the 370Z better. I know everybody's like, oh, but it's pretty much the same car. I don't care. I like the 350Z significantly better. I don't know why. I like the design choices. It looks incredible. I don't know what it is about it either. Like the headlights aren't that great. The front end isn't that great. The rear is really cool in my opinion. I do like the rear. And the taillights aren't that great or anything, but I just love it. Everything comes together to make just such a gorgeous car. Coming in at 3rd place, however, is another probably hot take, to be honest. The Toyota Supra Mark V. Sorry for all the rambunctious noise upstairs. My dogs are eating, and when they eat, they decide to create an earthquake with their bowls too. So they like run them around the floor like they're roller skating. Either way, though, the Mark V Supra is absolutely gorgeous. I think they absolutely 100% nailed the design on the Mark V. Am I a criminal? Do I deserve to be locked up in a state penitentiary for saying that? I don't think so. I think it's a gorgeous car, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I do like it the best in terms of looks of all the Supras. Honestly, in terms of everything, I kind of like the Mark V Supra the best. I said it. Sue me. It's a great car. It's an incredible car, and the looks, it's just so good. It's so good. Coming in at 2nd place, in a surprise to probably nobody, unless they're blind, is the Acura NSX NA1 or the Honda NSX NA1. I mean, it's literally a Ferrari, but made by Honda. Like, when this car, still to this day, if it drives by people, they're like, oh my god, a Ferrari. It's not a Ferrari, obviously, but it looks just like one. It is just so freaking special. I wish the new NSX looked anywhere close to as gorgeous and as just magnificent as the freaking 1st generation NA1s. The pop-up headlights are gorgeous. The rear end though is what really separates this car from the rest. They just have like, in terms of rear, like the taillight's perfect, the little spoiler that goes across the entire car, perfect. It's just, the rear end is unbelievably good looking. But 1st place, if you know me, then you probably knew this was coming. It's, of course, the Mazda RX-7 FD3S. I love the FD RX-7. I love the FD RX-7 for more than just its looks, but its looks is a big part of that. And the biggest reason for that is the taillights. I think there is quite literally no car in the world that has cooler taillights than the FD RX-7. I love the taillights on this car. It's perfect. It's quite literally perfect. Like, the only thing I do, I see people like modify the taillights and they add like aftermarket ones. I would do that too, just because it's so outdated at this point. But they keep the same design choice. They just have like different LEDs to make it look more modern. That's and then the wing, the aggressive Spirit R style wing, and it has pop-up headlights. The front bumper is good looking. The cabin is gorgeous. The cabin is great. The way it swoops into the trunk, or the hatch, I guess you can call it. Oh my god, it's the best. It's the best looking JDM car ever. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 25 best looking JDM cars of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like ideal. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say, I guess, today, guys. This is going to be a short outro. I feel like I feel like I was gonna say something, but I can't remember it because that happens to me every single day of my godforsaken life. So yeah, I definitely was about to just say something too. Now it's driving me freaking insane. Oh yeah, we're gonna start this as like a new series, sort of, I guess you could say, where it's just gonna be like top 25 best random things. So I think the next one, I already have the list written out actually. So the next one is the top 25 best supercars of the 90s. But let me know what other like rankings you'd like to see me do, like top 25 best whatevers, you know, and I do them. I definitely do them. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.